Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs spent 3 decades being untouchable. Bad boy records, all-white parties, a seat at every awards show. Then in 2024, federal agents raided his homes and found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil tied to what prosecutors called freak-off events. A jury acquitted him of the charges that could have ended his life: sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, but they convicted him on 2 counts of transporting people across state lines for prostitution. 50 months? He's at FCY Fort Dix right now, and his release date keeps shifting, pushed up 3 separate times this year alone. His lawyers are still in appeals court. The man who once controlled every room he walked into can't even lock down his own release date. Tory Lanez. In July 2020, Tory Lanez was just another guy in the car after a party at Kylie Jenner's house. Then Megan Thee Stallion stepped out with bullets in both feet, and Lanez became the most hated man in hip-hop. A jury convicted him in December 2022. 10 years. He's tried every legal exit since. Appeal, then a second appeal, then the California Supreme Court. All 3 rejected. In May 2025, another inmate stabbed him 16 times inside a state prison. He survived, and he's now suing the state for $100 million. He's also asked the governor for a pardon. Nobody's answered. Lanez isn't getting out early. His full release date is 2033. YNW Melly. YNW Melly hasn't been convicted of anything, and he's been locked up for over 7 years. Prosecutors say he shot his 2 best friends in 2018 and staged it as a drive-by. His first trial in 2023 ended in a hung jury. His retrial keeps getting pushed back. First 2025, then it's now set for January 2027. That's 8 years behind bars before a jury even reaches a verdict. His lawyers say he spent the last 3 years in solitary confinement. Every bond request has been denied. He's still facing the death penalty if convicted. Whatever a jury decides in 2027, Melly will already have served most of a decade for a crime nobody has actually proven. Lil Durk. Lil Durk turned the murder of his artist, King Von, into some of the biggest music of his career. Federal prosecutors say he also turned it into a bounty. They allege he funded a hit on Quando Rondo in retaliation, but the shooters killed Quando's cousin instead. Durk was arrested in October 2024, on his way to catch a private flight out of the country. His trial has already been delayed 4 times. It's now scheduled for August 20th, 2026, which means it could be starting right around when you're watching this. If convicted on the murder for hire and racketeering charges, Durk isn't looking at years. He's looking at decades. Tay-K released a song called The Race about running from the police while he was actually running from the police. It hit the Billboard Hot 100, then it became evidence against him. In 2019, a jury convicted him of murder and robbery for a 2016 home invasion that left 21-year-old Ethan Walker dead. 55 years. That should have been the end of the story. It wasn't. In 2025, he went to trial again for a second murder, a photographer he allegedly killed while fleeing the first one. Guilty again. 80 more years. Tay-K was 16 years old at the first killing. He's now facing well over a century behind bars, combined. Mystikal. Mystikal had Grammy nominations in the early 2000s and a platinum record with Shake Ya Ass. He also had a rape conviction from 2003 that cost him 6 years. He got out. It happened again. In 2022, he was arrested after a woman accused him of assaulting her at his Louisiana home. This June, he pleaded guilty to third-degree rape, a deal that spared him a mandatory life sentence. 20 years. Days before sentencing, he tried to withdraw the plea. The judge said no. The victim asked the court for the maximum. She got it. Mystikal is now at Louisiana's Angola prison, nicknamed the Alcatraz of the South, and this isn't the first time he's been behind its walls. Kay Flock. Kay Flock dropped Shake It with Cardi B in 2022, 4 months after he'd already been charged with murder. Prosecutors said he shot a rival outside a Harlem barbershop in 2021. Here's the twist. The jury actually acquitted him of that murder charge, but they convicted him of racketeering, attempted murder, and gun charges tied to a Bronx gang called Sev Side. The judge wasn't lenient because of the acquittal. He called Flock's music and social media a culture of violence. 30 years. Prosecutors had asked for 50. Flock told the court he'd changed. The judge didn't buy it, saying Flock had shown no real remorse for anyone he'd hurt. Casanova. Casanova was signed to Jay-Z's Roc Nation, climbing the charts, telling interviewers his past could still catch up to him. In 2020, it did. He was one of 18 men charged in a sprawling RICO case tied to the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang, accused of firing a gun at a crowded Miami house party and robbing a diner 2 years before that. He pleaded guilty. The judge could have given him 60 years. He gave him 188 months instead, just over 15 and a half. While waiting on that sentence, Casanova wrote the court a letter saying he'd been suicidal behind bars and that he'd already left gang life before his arrest. It didn't move the number. Pooh Shiesty already did his time. In 2022, he got over 5 years for a gun conspiracy tied to 2 separate Miami shootings, walked out in October 2025 and told his lawyer he just wanted to get back in the studio. He lasted 6 months. In April 2026, federal agents arrested him again, this time accused of helping kidnap and rob Gucci Mane MA at gunpoint inside a Dallas recording studio, forcing him to sign away his own record deal. His trial's been pushed to February 2027. He's been denied bond. Pooh Shiesty didn't just get out and re-offend. He allegedly went after one of the biggest names in his own genre, C-Murder. C-Murder is Master P's little brother, a No Limit Records artist who once had label mates selling millions of records. In 2002, he shot and killed a 16-year-old fan named Steve Thomas at a Louisiana nightclub. A jury convicted him in 2009. Life, no parole. He's fought it every way the law allows. 2 witnesses recanted their testimony, claiming they'd been pressured into naming him. Kim Kardashian personally lobbied for his release. None of it worked. In February 2026, the Louisiana Supreme Court rejected his final appeal, meaning C-Murder has officially run out of ways to fight his own conviction in state court. He's been locked up for over 2 decades. Big Lurch. In April 2002, police found a man standing naked in a Los Angeles street, covered in blood, staring at the sky. That man was Big Lurch, a rapper who'd worked with E40 and Mystical on his way to an actual career. Inside the apartment, his roommate Tynisha Isaias was dead. Her chest had been torn open. Doctors later found human flesh in Lurch's stomach that wasn't his own. His defense argued PCP had triggered a psychotic break. The jury didn't care. Guilty of murder, torture, and aggravated mayhem. 2 consecutive life sentences. No possibility of parole. Big Lurch will die in prison for a crime that's almost too disturbing to summarize in one sentence. Lil Reese. Lil Reese helped define Chicago drill music. His song, Don't Like, basically built the sound half the genre still uses. In 2022, he was accused of punching and strangling his girlfriend until she was, in her words, gasping for air. 2 years later, a Texas jury convicted him of aggravated assault, 5 years. He's currently locked up at the Garza West unit, and he's actually eligible for parole starting this August, which means his freedom could be decided within days of this video going up. While inside, Reese converted to Islam and has kept a low profile. Whether that matters to a parole board is a completely different question. Kid Creole. Kid Creole helped invent hip-hop. He was a founding member of Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, the first rap group ever inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2017, on a Manhattan street, a homeless man named John Jolly said something to him. Creole pulled out a steak knife and stabbed him twice in the chest. Jolly died. In a police interrogation, Creole said he thought Jolly was gay and hitting on him. Prosecutors called it a hate crime. A jury convicted him of manslaughter in 2022. 16 years. The judge who sentenced him had one line for his defense team: a life is a life, no matter who the victim was. AR-AB turned his record label into what the FBI called a full-scale drug trafficking operation. Heroin, cocaine, meth, moving through North Philadelphia under the name Original Block Hustlers. Prosecutors say he also ordered the murder of a rival in 2017, though they never actually charged him with that killing. In 2021, a federal judge sentenced him on the drug and gun charges alone. 45 years. The judge told him flatly he could have been a hero instead of a criminal. AR-AB wasn't moved. He told the court to its face that gangster rap doesn't rap about flowers and rainbows. At 38 years old, he's now looking at spending the rest of his life inside a federal prison. 9Lock9 was a rising Cash Money signee with a feature that hit over 100 million views, right up until his rap sheet caught up with his rap career. In 2020, he allegedly fired a gun into an occupied Orlando home. He was also caught fraudulently pocketing $10,000 in COVID relief funds meant for small businesses. In December 2021, he was sentenced on the fraud and weapons charges alone. 87 months over 7 years. That sentence didn't even touch the racketeering and attempted murder charges still hanging over him from that same shooting. 9Lock9 went from a feature with YNW Melly to a rap sheet that reads like a federal case file.